If you tune into me, you watching Gully TV. Y'all know how I get when I'm walking, right? It took me some self-reflection before I got on here because I was trying to decide if I had the strength to do this or was it the right thing to do this. But I know that I'll feel better if I do this. I'm venting, so to speak. So, ironically, this is a cemetery right here. I got a lot of homies in this portion of the cemetery. I just buried my man Dana Flemings. He like right over there. This is just like maybe like a little over a year ago. He died from a drug overdose. And it's a whole bunch of I got a whole bunch of other comrades in here that's dead from murder and drug overdoses. I don't know the name of the cemetery, but this is the biggest cemetery in Erie, Pennsylvania. I don't know the name of it, but this motherfucker is huge. It's probably like, let me see this, 1926. It's this is 7 city blocks long, this cemetery. So you see all this, it just keeps on going, but this is the cemetery. You see you got somebody over there jogging through the cemetery. A lot of people, it's that big that people like jog through there and shit like that. But I came to get something to eat from my people's restaurant, the restaurant right there on the corner. And I just came from visiting one of my homeboys in the hospital. He got a couple of weeks left to live. His heart ain't no good. He warned me about this prior to him being hospitalized. He had told me some months back that the doctors told him that he didn't have much longer. So I got a phone call from one of his relatives, and they said, yo, Shiz is in the hospital, and you know, why don't you go down there and see him, man? You know, him seeing you probably a lift of spirits and shit like that. So this is my man and shit. We come up together, play basketball together, play football together, did time together, did crime together. And I'm gonna tell you how real this shit is, right? This game of life. The guy that I just went to go see in the hospital, he's about to die in a couple of weeks. He told on me before. He told on me before in a robbery when we was young niggas. We was in a juvenile home together. We was in a juvenile home together for, you know, robbing and stealing and shit. And this juvenile home, when we got out, they put us in a group home. And this group home, they would take us to public laundromats to do laundry and shit like that every Friday. Anyway, we seen a lady slipping in there, and we took her purse. We got away with it. Had like $8 in it. That was a nice lick when you like 14. And they ended up blaming it on another guy who's dead now. And it ended up coming back to us. And my man told on me. He told on me. And I'm sharing this part of the story with y'all about him telling on me, so we can dispel this whole rat thing. Rat. Everybody hate rats. It's a nigga watching this video just like me, who cool with a nigga that told on him, who's friends with a nigga that told on him. You know why? Because them is your friends and shit. Them is all you got. They're a part of your story and shit. You dig? And that's real. It's some people who watching this who have forgiven guys who told on him, put him in jail. Me, the shit that he told on me about, I did it. And whatever. We been got past that, but getting back to how he one day will probably be in this cemetery. You gotta take care of yourself, man. Like when I came up out of that hospital, just so many things was running through my mind. I know that today is football Sunday. I knew when I went in that hospital, he was gonna be in there by himself. I knew that when I went in that hospital, if he was woke, he was going to be watching football. Because before he became a drug addict, before he became a criminal, we was athletes. That's what we are. We athletes. So I knew he was going to be in there watching football. When I came in there, he kind of was squinting, couldn't see who I was. I cut on the light, and he like, my man, you know. So I asked him a few things about his situation. And he told me, man, they trying to get me up out of here and shit. And very, very awkward, you know, situation to be in, knowing that the person that I'm talking to it's that time where he gonna take that solo trip. And I started to understand this, that there's gonna be a time in our life when we all have to take a solo trip. We're gonna have to take a solo trip at some point. We're gonna have to go down a road where can't nobody go with us. You know what I'm saying? And it almost sounds like incarceration, only incarceration, if you ain't murdered nobody, you get another shot. But this solo trip, this is it. It's over with. And I'm like, damn, this is crazy and shit. So I asked him, he told me the story before, but I wanted to clarify it. I asked him, how did he start getting high? Because cocaine is what's killed him. And he recollected me, he told me that he was like, you know, I started sniffing first. And one day I ain't had no powder, had a pocket full of rocks. Start smoking rocks and never stopped smoking rocks most of his life. Most of his life. And I said, damn, man, it's people that was getting high with me and you as kids and shit, like getting high before all of this, and they still getting high. He was like, I know. He was like, that's what's fucking me up and shit. Like, he said he asks himself, damn, why me and shit? Like, it's people that been smoking coke all my life and they still here, they still getting high, but I got 2 weeks to live. And he said, when he spoke to the doctor told him, yeah, we understand that there's people who have been in long-term addiction, but that's not the case with you. It affects everybody differently. Your heart happened to be one that couldn't take all that goddamn cocaine. So, yeah, he smoked himself to fucking death, basically, and shit. He got a couple of weeks to live, and I asked him, I said, man, is you scared, man? He said, hell yeah, I'm scared. He said, but there ain't nothing I can fucking do about it, man. I made my motherfucking bed and shit. I'm like, damn. So, we continue to, you know, try to have a conversation. The football game is playing and shit. And he basically told me to leave. He told me, Mill, man, I'm tired, man. I'm about to go to sleep. They gave me some oxycodone and shit, and it's putting me down and shit. And he got tubes in his arms. Only 10% of his heart is working. Only 10% of his heart is working, and he got these tubes with some medicine going in his body that's keeping his heart functioning. His heart don't really pump on its own anymore, shit. And I said, all right, man, I'm up. And I threw him a dap. I told him, squeeze my hand, my nigga. Squeezed my hand. And I went on and got on. See, we still at the cemetery. All that walking I did, I had to get on my journey. So when I get outside the hospital, I said to myself, damn, we spent all of our life, me and him, chasing material shit. Nothing meant more than having some fly ass sneakers or being fresh. Nothing between me and him, nothing meant more than that. Like I said, this is one of my crimes. We was robbing and stealing together growing up. We was tagging together. For those who don't know what tagging is, that's when you get a football jersey and you get a pickle jar, and you go and you stand out in the shopping districts and you ask people to donate to your football team. That was a hustle for us. We did play football, but we wasn't turning in no goddamn money and shit. Whatever they put in that jar, we kept that shit. But this is how long me and him was law breaking together and shit. And I was saying to myself, don't none of this shit mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. Nothing. None of this shit. You know what I mean? I'm black, and we got a huge fascination with material shit. We killed people for material shit. Niggas done died for their chains and shit. We law break for material shit, for fly cars, for bad women and shit like that. All of this ostentatious shit. We spend our lives pursuing these things, and then all of a sudden, that day come when that shit don't mean nothing. And I'm looking at my man, I'm like, damn. It don't matter what your problem is. We all have problems. It don't matter what your problem is. If your health go bad, all of a sudden you got one fucking problem. Straight up. And my man got that problem. That shit's crazy. That you'll start to understand that we're only here for a very, very brief period of time. You'll understand that. I remember telling my mom, asking my mom, why you always going to fucking funerals? Because my mom go to a lot of fucking funerals. I'm not understanding that her generation is dying. And that's why she go to all these goddamn funerals and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm only 48, and I'm going through this shit right now already understanding that, damn, the way things are going, there's gonna be a day where I'm alone and shit. If I happen to live long, living long means you'll live to be alone and shit. Your peers won't be around, your loved ones won't be around. It'll just be you. And that's that solo trip that I was just telling y'all about, that my man is taking right now. He on that solo road and shit. But with me, in just the last few weeks, I had a homie got killed by a state parole officer. Right before him, I had another homie who died from complications from being shot about 15 years ago. His kidneys and all of that type of shit was fucked up internally from being shot. I got another homie who got killed by his girl. She stabbed him to death. And now my man is in the hospital right now with 2 weeks to live. And I'm saying to myself, I'm gonna turn around. But yeah, I'm still, all of that cemetery, all that time I've been walking next to the cemetery. And I'm like, man, damn, now my man, he just got a couple of weeks to live and shit. And I'm like, God damn. I'm a content creator. I'm a YouTuber. I'm the real Gully TV. I do a lot of shit. And I've dedicated my life to, hustling and trying to have nice things and shit like that. But that trip that I just went to the hospital, we can't take none of this shit with us. And it just makes you, think like, is it even worth putting all the fucking energy into trying to have nice things? Is it that important? Is having nice things, is having material shit that important, when in all reality, the most precious commodity is fleeting? That's time and shit. Time waits for no one. When I came out the hospital, I'm like, he said this to me, so you the only street nigga that came down here to see me and shit. And I wasn't totally shocked, because I'm different. I've always been different and shit. And when I got outside the hospital, I was saying to myself, the world is still turning and shit. It's people that's getting high, doing whatever it is that they like to do right now. Right now, today. Totally absent and totally unconscious of what my man is going through. He on that solo trip. And the world is still spinning. Like, people are going on with their lives like he didn't exist, like he never existed. And I'm like, damn, that's how fickle some people are and shit. But that's my man. And like I told y'all, he told on me before and shit. That's still my man. I left up out of there, and I was listening to DMX song Dogs for Life, and he starts the song off. He says, "Who I am is who I'm gonna be until I die. Either accept it or don't fuck with it. And if you're gonna be my dog, then you stuck with it." So when you somebody's dog, when you somebody's friend, when you somebody's homeboy, you accept them just like that, from start to finish. You know what I'm saying? And that song by X, that's one of the realest hip hop songs, gifts ever written. He was crying on that song. He poured a lot of emotion into that song, Dogs for Life. You know what I'm saying? The nigga who I just left at that hospital, who only got a couple of weeks to live, that's my dog. He comes from one of those families that addiction is it was probably passed down to him genetically. Mama was getting high. He had a younger brother who's dead already. He died of a drug overdose. They both was getting high. And, you know, this is just giving some explanation on what can make some people go that way. Some people, that shit is in their blood and shit. You know what I mean? Some of that shit is in their lineage. Addiction is passed down possibly through bloodlines and shit. Genetics. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful that I'm still here. I'm thankful that I'm healthy, man. Like, a lot of the things that we feel is valuable, the most precious commodity is time. The thing that's most valuable is being in good health. I'm very, very thankful for that. I'm glad that I was raised in the Nation of Islam, and my parents, especially my mother, was able to push that information into me about eating right and living a certain way. There's certain people that wasn't exposed to life-saving information. You know what I'm saying? And my mother, fruits, vegetables, holistic healing, How to Eat to Live, Dr. Sabi. This goes way back, man, to when we didn't have nothing but ginseng and castor oil. Castor oil, that's what black seed oil is today. You know what I'm saying? Castor oil was something that was in black families since day one. But I'm one of them children who come from a castor oil family and shit. You know what I'm saying? I just needed to get on here and vent, man, and share my story with y'all. And I hope everybody who's watching this, make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Because we all on the clock. It's one day that we all gonna take that solo trip. You know what I'm saying? So just be mindful of that. If you tune in to me, you watching the Dribble by Gully TV. And everybody will someday have to visit the cemetery on a solo trip. That's all I got to say, man. Peace.